HCAM programming is supported by our viewers, thank you, and by Phipps Insurance Agency, representing companies such as MapFree Insurance. Their family-owned independent agency is deeply rooted in the communities they serve and offer time-tested insurance products to fit individual needs. Since 1950, Phipps Insurance specializes in home, auto, business, condo, and renters insurance. Hello, everyone, and welcome into HCAM News Live. I'm your host, Tom Nappy. HCAM News Live is live every Thursday from 6:30 to 7 p.m., keeping you up to date with everything happening in Hopkinton. On today's edition of HCAM News Live, we have highlights from Week 2 of the Hopkinton Hillers winter season as they took on Westwood in basketball and hockey. And we also have some alpine skiing highlights as the alpine skiing team opened up the season. Plus, we talked with the Hillers girls basketball team. We caught up with head coach Mike Greco as well as the captains. And we have a whole lot more, but we'll get started off with the Martin Luther King Day festivities. They are always heavily anticipated in town. This year it was a little different due to the pandemic. It was a virtual event, but some great happenings took place on Martin Luther King Day. Let's check out the festivities right now. The Hopkinton Youth Commission, in partnership with the Hopkinton Freedom Team and HCAM, hosted virtual Martin Luther King Day festivities this past Monday. Part of the program included a talk on unity and peace with Hippolyte.
Hello, I'm Dawn, and I'm the Director of Hopkinton Youth and Family Services.
I'm Cheryl Peralt. I'm a member of the Hopkinton Freedom Team, and so is Dawn, and we're here together to talk a little bit about this talk with Hippolyte today.
In his talk, Hippolyte refers to Rwandan genocide. And that can be a triggering topic when you hear the details of his talk. Genocide might not be a term known to everyone who comes across this video. It's the deliberate killing of a large number of people from a particular nation or ethnic group with the aim of destroying that nation or group. So you might wonder, how does this relate to Martin Luther King and why King Jr. and why did we have this as part of our talk? We've been planning this since November and we're so excited to bring it to you. And I'm going to have Cheryl take it away about how she knows Hippolyte and learned of him and his incredible work.
Yes, I met and heard Hippolyte performing his art in Massachusetts over a year ago now, and he had come from Rwanda as part of a program in Boston called the International Arts in Residence with Arts Connect, and he was one of their recipients of that program, which is a great honor, and he gave a speech and contributed some of his art to the overall program, where other young people and leaders from around the world also were there to talk about their art and why it's important.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, shalom, namaste, and good day to all our viewers. First of all, I would like to extend my thanks to the Hopkinton Freedom Team to participate in Islamic School's annual Interfaith MLK Day. Today, we are honored to have a guest speaker, Hippolyte Nigurirwa, who is an artist, researcher, and founder of Be the Peace. That is an organization focused on promoting cross-generational healing and halting the intergenerational transmission of hate.
My name is Hippolyte Nigurirwa, like they said. I am a survivor of the genocide carried out against the Tutsi in Rwanda in 1994. Many people from my family were killed in front of me. My father was killed and left to the dogs to eat. And I never even had a chance to bury him. I survived by hiding under dead bodies in mass graves, but I always expected to be killed. I was only 7 years old, and during the genocide, I also was made a child slave for the killers who made us do many work for them.
HCAM also hosted a special edition of the Hangout Hour featuring members of the Hopkinton Freedom Team and the Hopkinton Youth Commission.
Now, traditionally, as we know, this has been a big deal in town, and COVID-19 has kind of blown in this last year, and all kinds of different things are happening. So we're going to talk with some people who have been involved, and we're going to see what they're doing today. So I'd like to welcome everybody, and if you could please just first introduce yourselves in case somebody doesn't know you. Start with Dawn.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kathleen Dinsmore, and I am the founder of the Hopkinton Freedom Team and the facilitator.
Hi, everyone. My name is Chris Ocampo. I am one of the assistant principals at Hopkinton Middle School.
I'm Alendra Canty, and I am on the Youth Commission as well as the Freedom Team.
Today we're here on this call, but also we have a number of additional kind of activities that are online and pre-recorded for people to take in short bursts. So there's 6-7 minute videos. The South Asian Circle of Hopkinton put out an excellent video by a middle schooler, which includes interviews with, and guys, correct me if I'm wrong, Gandhi, obviously Martin Luther King, and what was the other one? I forget who the other.
Nelson Mandela.
And Nelson Mandela. I mean, once again, it's about 7 minutes, but it's worth every minute to watch it, and really it was really eye-opening and a wonderful thing to see. Another student at the Hopkinton High School who was part of the National Honor Society put together a very short video. It's maybe 5 minutes of one of Martin Luther King Jr.'s most famous speeches. But it's really great for people to be able to sit down and just watch it, even if it's just 5 minutes out of their day, and think about what the day means. And then last but not least is something that we posted to our Hopkinton Unites agenda on our Facebook page, and that would include the information around the letter from Martin Luther King in Birmingham jail. And if you have not taken the moment to read the letter, it is definitely probably one of the most moving ones that I'd ever read. Lynn brought it to me this year. I had not read it before. I'm fairly active in diversity, inclusion, and equity within my own life outside of Hopkinton. I was very surprised I'd never seen it before, and it was definitely something that moved me to the core.
Personally, I think it's really a time of reflection and how far we've come as a country and as, I guess, a race, and moving forward, how much more work we have to continue doing. One of my favorite quotes that is by Dr. King, and he says, "Our lives begin to the day we become silent about things that matter." And I can't help but think of 2020 and really all of the things that have happened that relate to all the work that he's done, and just really reflect on how much work we still have to continue doing. And being silent is not the answer, and having these conversations to be able to move forward is something that I want to continue doing. And I think Dr. King has really told us we can't stay silent about some of these difficult things that we have to continue working on.
You can view both of these programs in full at our YouTube page, youtube.com/HCAMTV. And there you have it, our segment about the Martin Luther King Day festivities. I apologize, we're having a little bit of a technical glitch here, but we'll try to get that straightened out. In any case, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, We'll talk with Hillers girls basketball. We have the head coach as well as the captains, and we have highlights from week 2 of the Hillers winter sports season. A whole lot more ahead. Don't go anywhere.
HCAM News is supported by our viewers and by Hopkinton Drug, located in this historic New England town since 1954. They are a multifaceted store dedicated to providing clients with an array of healthcare options.
And welcome back to HCAM News Live. As you can see, we're having some issues with the green screen. Yes, sorry to spoil it for you. I'm not in the studio right now since we're all working remotely. So you can see this nice, beautiful green screen behind me. Obviously, it was causing some issues with the videos. So we'll leave it like this for now. But in any case, we have a weekly sports show right here on HCAM, and it's every Wednesday at 3 p.m. HCAM Sports Talk Live. And on our most recent episode, we caught up with Hillers girls varsity basketball head coach Mike Greco, as well as the team captains. Here's a look at that interview with this year's Hillers girls varsity basketball team.
Yeah, honestly, it's been great. We're just, I think, really happy to even have a season. We know that we're fortunate enough to be in a district where the administration is allowing us to play and, providing us the resources we need to get out there. I can't say enough positive things about the group of girls I've got this year. They work hard. They're committed. They have been, we returned 11 players, all 11 players, as a matter of fact. And so it's really been the same kind of core for several years now. So the chemistry has been off the charts, and there's been, some challenges to deal with and some logistics that we've had to adjust to. But, once practice starts and once the game starts, it really does just feel like basketball again. And so it's been really great to be out there.
We'll start off with Millie. How has your experience been getting ready for the season? And I can only imagine it must be tough playing with the masks. But how's it been so far?
Yeah, it's definitely different, especially wearing masks, like you said. And there's also a lot of new guidelines that we have to follow. But by this point, I think we've pretty much gotten used to it. But other than that, practices have been fun. The team has a really special bond, which is definitely important. But given the circumstances we have now, I'm just hoping we get back on the court as soon as possible, because since the season is shorter this year, we're coming close to an end. But we're definitely lucky to actually have a season this year. So.
And Caroline, how has your experience been so far this season? And you must be excited to be back out there.
Yeah, I've definitely been really excited. Like Millie said, we're just really lucky that we actually get to play, and we've been very appreciative. And something that coach says, like every day in practice and at every game, is that we really don't know how many games and practices we're guaranteed to have. So I think everyone really does take that to heart, and especially the seniors. It's hard knowing it's like our last season, but we really do take it to heart and work hard and practice every day and push each other and compete.
And Lulu, how has your experience been? I'm sure you're happy to be back out there.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to play with everyone again. And it's definitely easier since we did return everybody. So it definitely is a little harder to like learn new things like with the mask and with like the new guidelines. But I think it definitely helps that like we all have already played together and everything.
And Coach, what's been the toughest transition for you this year? I know there hasn't been too many rule changes, but are there any procedures in practice or game procedures that have taken a bit of getting used to? I'd imagine a procedure change such as the limited halftime breaks must be a little more difficult for you.
Yeah, I think the biggest things in the game have been there's no more baseline out of bounds plays, and they're limiting the number of players, that are in the lane on a free throw. So that's been a minor adjustment, but I think you nailed it when, you mentioned that there's no halftime, there's no more pregame talk and things like that. So it's kind of, we show up, we get off the bus, we stretch, and we play. And I'm sure the kids like it because they don't have to listen to me give a 10, 15-minute spiel on all the things we want to do that night. But that's been a little bit of an adjustment. So it's been, a lot more preparing and practice the day before.
Millie, what's been the toughest change for you this season? Obviously, there's the fact that you got to wear masks when you're out there. And I know some of the warm-up procedures have changed. And, of course, the halftime shorter. Is there any of these changes that you've found particularly difficult to work with?
I would say that during the games, especially, we're not allowed to pick anyone up or high five anyone, and that's been difficult because I love supporting my teammates. So that's definitely been very difficult, especially during practice too.
And Caroline, how about you with the changes? Anything that's been particularly difficult for you to work with?
I think definitely the masks. It can be hard to breathe and even just hear our teammates at times. But a big one I would say is probably just the social aspect outside of being on the court. Our team, especially returning, all our players, we're just always super, super close and hang out all the time, during our off season. So I think not having our spaghetti dinners and just team hangouts and sleepovers have been tough, but we haven't let that impact us at all because we're still very close. We're very loud and talkative, as I'm sure Coach knows. We're always dying laughing in practices.
Now, do you ever have to go off to the side? What was that, Coach?
The bus ride sing-alongs on the way home or something, something special.
Do you ever have to go off to the side and kind of just pull the mask up for a minute and just breathe some fresh air?
Sometimes. I mean, it can be hard because obviously we have to keep them on, but it's really not bad. Thankfully, Coach doesn't have us running sprints all the time. So I think that he definitely takes that into account, which is nice.
As long as the refs don't see, right? Lulu, how about you? What's been some of the toughest obstacles that you've had to deal with this season with the changes because of the COVID-19 pandemic?
One of the things that's definitely different is the pregame ritual. We have certain traditions and it's kind of a routine that we had going. We would, and then also the posters that Coach Greco would make, that really got us ready for the game. And it's kind of just straight to business now, which in a way I guess is nice because it's just we get straight to it, but also it was something that we had done before every game for the past 2 years. So it is definitely different.
It was a great time catching up with head coach Mike Greco, as well as the captains of this year's terrific Hillers girls basketball team. We certainly hope to see them back in action soon. Obviously, some games have been postponed in recent weeks, but fortunately, alpine skiing is taking place tonight, and you can catch it tonight over on HCAM Ed. I believe it's starting at about 7 o'clock tonight over on our HCAM Ed channel. It'll also be live on our YouTube page as well, Hillers Alpine Skiing tonight. And we will get you up to date with what other sports to expect in the very near future. But first, let's take a look at the Week 2 highlights as the Hillers in basketball and hockey took on Westwood, and they also had their first Alpine ski meet of the season. Here's a look at what happened. Hicks over to Hyman, up for the shot, and good. Hillers boys basketball took on Westwood on Tuesday, January 12th. In the JV game, Wyatt Stevens dropped 23 points for the Hillers. Full court pressure by the Hillers here in the closing seconds of the half. Stolen away by Wyatt Stevens to the bucket, and yes, it'll fall through. Nice steal there. Buzzer beater, a little short, and at the end of 2, it's Westwood 25, the Hillers 20. Sam Pantera added 15 points. Boy, has this game turned. Pantera knocks down a 3, just what the doctor ordered for the Hillers. The Hillers scored a whopping 26 points in the third quarter to take a 46-39 lead heading into the fourth.
It is a Westwood rebound, put back, no good there, and the Hillers have it off the Miss Robertson shot. And here comes Hopkinton, a pass over to the corner, knocking down the three, Wyatt Stevens.
Wyatt Stevens knocked down a trifecta of threes in the third quarter.
Players gathering close to each other. Kane up for the lane, no good. Also, the defender has to be 6 feet away from the inbounder. Up for three, and swishing it right through Wyatt Stevens.
Hillers JV ended up taking the game 58-51 over Westwood.
Another defender and finds Fatahi. Fatahi up and good, plus the foul.
In the varsity game, James McGowan knocked down 4 3-point buckets and 5 field goals overall to help Westwood outscore Hopkinton in the quarter 16-13. Trailing 36-29 heading into the third quarter, the Hillers responded with 23 points and outscored Westwood 23-20 to cut the Westwood lead down to 4 points heading into the final 8 minutes.
Keith trying to work his way by McGowan. Here he goes, pass to the corner, DiPietro for three, off the rim, no good. Keith with the rebound and the putback and in.
Westwood, however, outscored Hopkinton in the fourth quarter 16-10 and took the game 72-62. On Wednesday, January 13th, Hillers varsity hockey took the ice to take on the Wolverines of Westwood, looking to rebound from an 8-1 loss the previous week versus Norwood.
But you don't see it too often. Not too often, no. There's a shot, and that is in! Toko with the goal! Right off the post, and in it goes with 17:08 left to go in the first half. And the Hillers take the 1-0 lead. Seamus will wrap it back around. Mara leaves it out. There's a shot at the goal! Joe Carazza!
Hillers scored 2 goals in the first half. Westwood added one of their own with under 2 minutes left to make it a 2-1 game.
Certainly is. Racing up the near side, Horsfall. Leaves it out. Can someone get there? There's a shot, and that is in. The Wolverines respond. Paul Dyson with the goal.
Hopkinton dominated the second half, silencing Westwood and adding 3 Hiller goals.
Mira up against Fahey. Carazza sends it back to Jarrett. Now to Carazza. Leaves it out for Berman. Wrist their goal! Mike Berman! What a beauty of a shot that was from Mike Berman. And Carazza with another assist. Along the corner. Here comes Mira. Leaves it for Carazza. Racing in. There's a shot and a goal! What a beauty! Joe Carazza, the sophomore. Over to Fay. Toko to the empty net, and it's in! Jeff Toko with the finisher.
The Hillers took the win over Westwood 5-1 and improved to 2 wins and 1 loss on the season. Westwood fell to 2-1 overall. This past Wednesday, Hillers Alpine Ski also hit the slopes with a number of different schools.
Now, it looks like the snow is holding up pretty well. I mean, I see a few deep ruts developing mid-hill. I can't obviously see up over the hill. So I do expect to see, some improvement in times between first and second runs.
Yeah,
But
a couple of seconds.
oh no, it'll be, we're talking 10th. If you can improve by a 10th of a second, that's a significant
really?
improvement.
Okay.
Yeah, ski racing is a game of hundredths of a second.
Now from down here, from this angle, the slope looks fairly flat. Is it, or are there dips and such that we aren't seeing?
No,
here?
not really. It's
relatively flat.
It's you know, it's a consistent
Okay.
consistent slope, I guess is what I would call it.
Sure.
And that's great, right? Because for those folks who have not, you know, had a lot of formal training, it takes a lot of the intimidation away and really, you know, makes it more fun.
Both the Hillers ski teams finished second place in their first meeting of the season. This was the best team finish for the girls in program history. Kate Barry was second, Kiara Niss fifth, Libby Herlahai was sixth to lead the girls, while Jackson Schlusel was first for the boys. Jake LaRoche was fifth, and Cameron Hanna was seventh for the Hiller boys alpine ski team. And there you have it, a look at the Hopkinton Hillers highlights from week 2. And don't forget, we have alpine skiing coming up tonight at about 7 o'clock over on our HCAM Ed channel, as well as our YouTube page, youtube.com/HCAMTV. Let's take a look at the Hillers standings after 2 weeks of play. Boys basketball, they lost to Westwood. They're 1-2 on the season. Their last game was against Westwood with that 72-62 loss. Very close game, though. In girls basketball, they defeated Westwood. 32-25 was the score on that one. They're 2-1. Boys hockey 2-1 after a nice 5-1 win over Westwood. Girls hockey is 1-1 on the season after a 4-1 win against Medway. Boys indoor track and girls indoor track both 2-0 after a win against Over Sherborne. Upcoming games. Well, unfortunately, that Friday game that we have listed there has been postponed. There will be no freshman basketball on Friday, but we're hoping Tuesday we'll pick up basketball action as the Hillers take on Medfield. We'll have the freshmen at 3:30, JV at 5, varsity at 6:30, and then we're hoping to have our first Hillers varsity girls hockey game against Norwood at 5:40 p.m. next Wednesday, and then more alpine ski next Thursday at about 7 o'clock. Registration open for Hopkinton Little League baseball and softball. The deadline is January 31st, so sign up your young one now as we're getting close to that deadline for Hopkinton Little League. And our pictures of the week, this is from January 14th, the first Hiller Alpine Ski Meet of the season, and they honored their seniors at the first meet of their season, as they traditionally do. Great photo from our own John Ritz. And also last week, Hopkinton's American Legion adjutant Mike Whalen and State Representative Carolyn Dykema worked with School Superintendent Dr. Carol Kavanaugh to install the Hopkinton in Service veterans panels in the schools. Hopkinton in Service honors the veterans that work in the public sector. Upcoming government meetings on HCAM TV, Monday, January 25th at 6:30. We'll have the planning board. And then on Tuesday, January 6th at 6 p.m., we will have the select board for the full list of town government meetings. Head over to hopkintonma.gov. Well, believe it or not, we are just about out of time. So that is going to do it for everyone here at HCAM. I'm Tom Nappy. Take care, be well, and we will talk to you again soon. We'll catch you next Thursday. Alpine Ski airing over on HCAM Ed starting at about 7 o'clock. Have a good night, everybody.